Hello friends, hope you are doing well. Welcome to another episode. And we in this episode we are going to discuss more about the file structure of Drupal. You are already familiar with Drupal CMS. It's a very popular open source CMS used by profound websites and there is a large community available who are constantly working on improving this software. So we have installed Drupal here with sample content. So it's a CMS. You can manage pages and articles. So it's work like a blog, and you can see it is running on Drupal chain, and it's also provide multiple language. And we are already pretty much familiar with the features of Drupal CMS. You can check out the other videos on the playlist. So our today's topic is discussing on the theme development. So I'm just opening the file of a Drupal 10 websites and just have a look to this file structure, and we want to discuss here which particular folder is associated with what kind of actions, and that will be a good start for a beginner level learner. Okay, so dear friend, I hope you are a little bit familiar with these tools, and here you can see one folder is called core folder, and core folder is the directory that contains the core Drupal related file that includes the Drupal kernel, modules, and the themes. So you can see inside this particular folder there are some subfolders available like assets, config, include library, modules, etc. So what is there in the folder called library? Let me check out. So you can see there is a readme file available, and it is describing the information like this library is containing the core file, Drupal core file, and all the Drupal original cores are following the PSR4 convention. PSR4 convention is a special convention that are followed by modern developer for better securities. And the libraries folder contains some third-party libraries that are used by Drupal, such as what you see, what you get kind of editors. Then there is a folder called theme. So theme folder contains the theme files. You can check, there are few themes already available. So theme directory contains all the themes that has been installed on your site. So there is a folder called sites. You can see there is a folder called sites. I'm just minimizing this. There is a folder called sites. Here. So in sites folder you can see some YML file and some example setting files, example sites files, So sites file is sites directory is the directory that is specified for configuration related file such as database connection related information and etc. Then there is a file called vendor. So vendor contains various type of vendors that are included in Drupal. You can also find another folder called the modules. So modules contain various type of modules, especially for example files is a module. So files is a directory that contains the uploaded files, etc. And so you can check. Now let me discuss a little bit more about this core folder first. So what is there in the core folder? So core directory is a collection of all the modules. You can see core directory has many modules, and Drupal kernel is the core of Drupal, and it is responsible for loading the modules and the theme, as well as it provides some basic functionality of Drupal. The modules are some add-on component and it extend the functionality of Drupal. The Drupal themes are the visual appearance of Drupal, and the libraries. Libraries are some external files that are not developed by Drupal team, but Drupal use those libraries for various purpose. Now, advanced developer creates some modules for different purposes. Here you can see CK Editor 5 is a module that is adding the core text editor, which is just like MS Word. Okay, so there are many modules available, like book is a module. So inside module you get again config folder, install folder, options folder, and schema, then migration, and the source, the templates, and some tests. So you can see this particular book module is consist of so many folders. Install folder is a YML file, and the option folder is again YML file. So most of the files are YML, and the schema is also YML. View is also YML. Drupal use a model view controller architecture, and in the theme categories, theme directory that contain all the install theme, and there are thousands of themes available free online. You can download and install this. The site directory contains the site specific configuration, such as database connection information. The site directory also contains the files that are uploaded on the site, such as the images and the documents. Welcome back, dear friends. In this part, let us try to understand the file structure of a Drupal 10 theme. So first we are going to view how it looks like from the backend. So for example, when you go to the appearance section, you can see the install theme here. The theme name is Umani. This is the default theme. It looks like a food magazine, and for a demonstrative purpose the site is using this theme. Now it looks like this: responsive, managing articles, recipes, and just like a recipe website. Now what is the file structure and how it is using this code? So you can go to this particular profile section, core profile, and you find these demo umani files. So there is a lot of files for different blocks of this theme, but here in under the theme section you get these major files. We'll look at these major file first and try to understand its code. One file is called .info.yml. So what is the use of .info.yml file? To create a theme on Drupal's latest version, you need to create a file name that is according to the theme name. So theme name is demo underscore umani and info.yml. Now this file provides the metadata about the theme. So here we can see this info.yml file, and it contains the metadata like the name of the theme, its type, and some description about the theme. It is an example example theme, and it is using these I think these packages or these these are already installed in this theme. Now the theme is using the default theme Claro, and it is in English version. The version is 10.0.0 and the project is, there is a daystamp. So this information, these are paired information. So this information, name, type, description, install, this specification is very important. Now first you are creating this file, and which is humanly understandable name, and the Drupal will understand that a new theme is there because of this info.yml file, and there are some basic rules of defining that name, like all the character must be letter. You cannot use special character for defining the name. You cannot make this name too long, like more than 50 character, and it must be unique, like you are not going to copy any other theme's name. So the first thing is to create a info.yml file. Once you create the info.yml file inside your theme folder, now you can develop some new theme, and for that you have to add more files to this folder. For example, this library.yml and profile. So we'll discuss the use of these themes in a theme in a YML file, info.yml file. You can also define various reason of your theme, and there are some key value pair is available. So these key value pair are like name, it is required, you have to add this key value pair. Type is required, base theme, you can define some base theme, and when you add some base theme, then you don't need to code everything, because your new theme will depend on the base theme for various type of features. Then you can also add a code called core, and then description is optional. You can add PHP version as well. You can add reasons. You can add style sheet remove. You can add CK editor. So here is a few lists available on the Drupal documentation, and this list is here. So you can see this list here. So dear friends, we understand that how to create this info.yml file, which is very important. Next thing, dear friends, in this particular section, we'll focus on the libraries.yml file. It is a very important file in your theme. What does it define? And so libraries.yml file is used to define the JavaScript and the CSS libraries that you can load on your theme. So basically most of the theme related works are around adding new CSS, new JavaScript on your theme. So that is a very important file. Using info.yml, you have just defined the new theme, and here you also adding some base theme. We have the documentation on the website, what are the key pair value that you can use on the particular info.yml, and on the libraries.yml file is very significant here. So in Drupal, JavaScript and CSS are loaded through some systems, and these are not located somewhere physically. Like you will understand the principle. The Drupal use a very high level principle for this asset management, like CSS and JavaScript file related management. So there is some different process of adding those file after Drupal 7 version. So we are now using Drupal 10, and the process is a little bit different. To load CSS and JavaScript, you have to mention the location is through your library.yml. So how to define this library.yml? Just you create a file using this extension, and then you define some key pair values here. So here CSS component, these things are defined here. We can check various type of other themes library files, and you can find a library file inside all the themes. So look at various other themes. For example, this theme has a huge number of blocks and huge number of files here. Like look at the minimal theme, and here you can also find this info, but there is no library files. Look at these standard, some other theme files. For example, here it is a theme Olivero theme. Inside Olivero theme there is an info file. You can see it is a really complex, and a library, and this library is defining the CSS components, JavaScript components, etc. So here in CSS components, you can see CSS are located in different files. Here is an example of another theme, stable 9, and it also has a library .library.ml, and here you can see JavaScript and CSS related information are located there. You look at the other themes like Stark. Look at there is no library file, only info file is available. Let us check this one. This one is a library file. So our theme demo theme is using this as a base theme, so you can understand the CSS files are located here. You can get a detailed information about how to add CSS and JavaScript on a Drupal theme, especially on library.yml file in this documentation. And here some example codes are available, and here's the important table that is useful for developer in understanding how to use those uh, key pairs information, especially if you are a front-end developer and working on front-end design of a Drupal site, and you are going to customize the theme, like adding new CSS, then this information is very helpful. So you need to understand these following property and options for your CSS. So like using this keyword browser, uh, and it is now deprecated. Using this keyword media, you can define the media type. Then minified means whether your code is minified or not, so you can see that how it works. Drupal 10 has revolutionized the uh, structure of theme, and it is very flexible. And when you look at the documentation, it is quite uh, complicated to understand this, how to use new JavaScript and CSS on a Drupal theme. So I'm going to explain these step by step, so that it is easy for you to understand. So first of all, you need to create the library file that we have discussed a little while ago, that .libraries.yml file. So the script and the style sheets properties used in this particular in a theme is mentioned in this particular file, and we have shared one example here. This is the library.yml file. Now each library defines some specific CSS and JavaScript is like JS files. So they are like part by part. They are specifically written for some component. Okay, so sometimes it is a long list of different CSS files. So where you can find those CSS files for editing, that is a question. And each library each theme has a unique library. When you are developing a new theme as a child theme, it is using the property of parent themes, and you can also define version of your theme. And the version component, basically here is the version component. Version component is optional, and you can with the help of version component you can manage different version of your theme. So here in the CSS section we have some base CSS. Here we see the files that are base files, and all the CSS files are included below these CSS. So this indentation is very important. You can see a kind of indentation is used in this file. This indentation is very important. And the Drupal 10, Drupal 8, 9 using this kind of logic for adding new CSS. Now when the library is added and your theme is active, the relevant CSS file will work for the component. And there is some additional properties that you can add in a theme, like there is a theme section. Let me check whether this is available or not. So it is quite complex, especially this default one, and many CSS sections are created here. Similarly for JavaScript you get many CSS sections like that. So dear friend, in this library just look at the basic base CSS files. So inside CSS there is a base folder, and inside base there is a print.css. So where you can find this print.css? So you look at these CSS folder. Inside that you have a base folder. Look at this base folder, and there is a print file. So you can edit this print CSS. Similarly, you go to your library page .library and look at the typography related CSS file here inside base typography. There is another extension PCSS is used. The difference between these two CSS file is that it is dynamic. Okay, so understanding this PCSS is very important. Now you can find where is the CSS and JavaScript file located on a Drupal site from this discussion. And here you can understand that we can add many JavaScript packages to a Drupal website. You can connect React JavaScript framework to your Drupal theme, and you can add Vue JavaScript framework to your Drupal theme and add new features based on that. Now we understood that where is the JavaScript and CSS files located on a theme, and how the child theme and parent theme are connected in terms of JavaScript and CSS files. See you guys in another episode with new knowledge sharing.